G'day guys, Axel with you again for an unfortunate re-upload of my previous video where I had neglected to put in the mathematics at the end of the video itself. So for that I do apologize. I'm going to rectify it now. Unfortunately, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal or an issue. I actually deleted the footage because I didn't need it after that. So I've got to re-record it. So without further ado, what we're going to do is judge the melee damage of two Ankys. One of them is going to be level 1, the other one's going to be a 225, and then we're going to boost its melee damage up using all the points that we have here. We're going to compare the results against these rich metal nodes that are about to place here on Crystal Mountain on the island. And upon doing so, determine if higher amounts of melee damage percentage actually do give you more resources per node. Now, I'm not going to be speaking too much during this. I'm going to be fast forwarding through each, hit. We're going to be counting the amount of hits against the nodes to find out roughly how much damage in terms of percentage that we do to each node at whatever percentage this Anky is at. I think it's 134. At 134%. Fantastic. So let us quickly, wow, these guys are real slow. So let us work our way down to this one here just so we can get a decent reading by hitting 3 of these rich metal nodes, and we'll then go on to the higher end Anky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so 13 hits to destroy a singular rich metal node with a level 1 Anky on 1x official rates. So we got 155 metal and 67 stone with that one. We're going to do the same thing with these 2 extra metal nodes here and compare the results. This will tell us roughly how much percentage we're doing per hit to these metal nodes with the Anky. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, again with 13. So what I'm actually going to skip doing this third one with this low level Anky, and we're going to actually use this higher level Anky. So instead of 134, we've got 328. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so about half. And we gained a smidget more metal and about the same amount of stone. Again, I'll be putting these up on the screen and making sure they're actually up on the screen this time, not like the previous video. What I'm going to do for this one, actually, I think I'll bump the melee damage up now. Yeah, I think I'll do it now. That way we got 2 metal nodes here to work with. So what are we up to? 328. $657 is roughly double what we were just at the 328. So 656 is double that amount. So yeah, we're roughly around double that. So in theory, if it holds true that you gain more resources with a higher end Anky than a lower end, then this should destroy this metal node in roughly 3 hits, while also getting about 65 metal per hit. Okay, so it was indeed 3 hits, and we still only got about the same amount that we did before from the previous metal node. So to prove this even further, we'll go from the 657 to the 791 for this last node. So 201 and 67. So stone didn't really change, but the metal did. So I'm going to be putting the mathematics up on the screen now for you guys, and I'll also do a voiceover while I do this, just to compile the data all together. So bear with me. Okay guys, so taking the knowledge of what we know about the 134% melee damage of the Anky and how it does 8% damage to the node of its 100% health per hit, then we can determine that by adding an eighth to that 134%, we can turn that into 151%. That 151% will equal 9% of damage to the node per hit. If we were to times this 9% by 10, then we get to 90%. But that also means we need to times the Anky's damage by 10. So we have 1500 melee damage, give or take. This is roughly the sweet spot of what you'd want, because if you start going over that 90% threshold, you will begin to deteriorate your gains, your resources. As you can see there, hitting the node for 90% damage and leaving it with 10% left means you can hit it a second time, which will break the rock for its 10% leftover health, while also giving the extra 80% as carryover damage. Therefore, the node has to give all the resources as it would manually. So essentially meaning that you will gain extra resources because the node still has to give you the amount that you would normally get if you were hitting it, breaking it, or not breaking it. There you go guys, here we are again. So now this time around we've got a super high level Anky, just because I can't be bothered obviously doing the mutations needed to actually get to the melee damage for this presentation. But we have almost 1500 melee damage. So if my theory holds true, you should be able to get at least 2 hits on this node. The first hit will severely damage the node, bringing its health down to basically nothing. But because the node is still active, it has to give you everything it can in the event, whether it breaks or not. Like, it has to give you 100% everything. So let us see if it breaks in 1 hit, or if I can get this to break in 2. 1 hit. 2 hit. Okay, so there it is there. So that is the proof that I was looking for. Now, I'm on 1 times rate, so you guys will see, like if you're on ARK or small tribes, maybe a unofficial boosted server, etc., or especially during events, you're going to see a much bigger gain than this. But we averaged out about 160 odd for the other melee damages, and now with 1500 I managed to collect 237. To show that this wasn't a fluke, I should probably go to this one. $219 and 82. So not quite as much in this one, but the logic still stands. Smash out its melee damage as far as we can. Alright, so what was that? Basically 1770. 1 hit, done, and unfortunately, because I only got it in 1 hit instead of 2, yeah, it's not giving me as much metal. So that concludes the test, guys. More melee damage can be good and it can be bad. There is a sweet spot, and that sweet spot depends on what you are harvesting, what creature you are harvesting it with, whether the creature you're harvesting with has mate boost, whether it has imprint, etc. There are so many variables involved. As I said in the previous video, for those who saw it, it will take hours and hours and hours of testing in order to come up with a formula for every single harvestable node, from your crystal, obsidian, metal, the bushes, trees, the element shard gems, the green, blue, and red shards on aberration, so on and so forth. There's a formula for all of them, and over time I will get to them one at a time. But thus far, 1500 is the sweet spot for an Anky against your rich metal nodes. So, thank you guys for tuning into the video. I'm sorry it dragged on, and I hope this answered some of the questions. I'll see you guys in the next one.